Hello everybody, this is Carmelo Pinzoni, and in this video we're going to talk to you today about exponents and square roots. I'm going to show you a little bit of the basic concept of what an exponent and how to calculate a exponent, and as well as a square root. And then I'm going to show you how to calculate different exponents and square root on our TI-30-XS calculator. So first of all, before we do anything on a calculator, we need to know what an exponent is. So let's say you are trying to figure out what 5 raised to the power of 2 is. So first of all, what you want to understand out of the gate here is that we're never ever going to multiply these two numbers together and call it as a 10. So you want to take the large number, which is called the base, and multiply it by itself as many times as the exponent calls. In this case here, I'm going to replicate the 5 twice here, and 5 times 5 is 25. Same thing with 5, and we're going to raise this to the third power. We're going to take the 5 and multiply it by itself as many times as the exponent tells me to. So in this case, 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. So I'm going to show you how to do all these on our calculator in a little bit. What I want to also talk about today is square root and what the component of square root is. So for example, square root is nothing more than the opposite of squaring a number. It is not divided by 2. So for example, let's go on and use this for example here. 5 squared is 25. So the concept of the square root is this. The number inside is going to be comprised of two numbers when multiplied together, which are the same. So in this case here, the only thing that is going to work here is 5 times 5. Cannot use 1 times 25. They're not the same numbers, right? A times A in the world of algebra, if the letters are the same, then the numbers are the same. The singular number is the square root. It is opposite of squaring 5. 5 times 5 is 25, and the square root of 25 gets you back down to 5. So let's talk about the concept of a cube root. And we're going to use 5 to the third in example here. So 5 to the third is the same thing as cubing a number. 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. Now, if I want to go ahead and get back to where I started, we're going to take what's called the cube root. So if you see a little number that's nested inside here, then it's going to be that root number we're looking for. A 3 is a cube root, a 4 would be the fourth root, etc. If it does not have a number inside, then it's understood it's a square root. You can think of it as an imaginary 2 inside the square root bracket. So here, for the cube root of 125, the number inside is going to be comprised of a product of 3 numbers that are the same when multiplied together. The singular number is the cube root. So the only thing that works here is 5 times 5 times 5, which is 125, represents the inside, and the singular number is the cube root, or the third root. So that's how these concepts basically work for squaring and cubing a number, and it will work for exponentials other than 2 and a 3. You could use 5 to the 4, 5 to the 5, or any number thereof. Okay, now that we understand the basic concept of exponentials and squaring or square root and cube root, let's take a look at these concepts on the calculator. So this is our TI-30-XS calculator, and our keys that we're going to focus on are right over here. This top key here, it looks like a little caret key. That's going to be our exponential key. And the key that's below that is our x squared key. It's a shortcut for squaring a number. So for example, if you want to do 5, and then we're going to hit the x squared key and then enter, that gives us 25. 5 times 5 is 25. Now notice above this x squared key, you got that little green square root key. That is the opposite of squaring the number. So let's say we want to go ahead and find the square root of this 25. So we're going to do the second, and then the x squared key, which is going to bring up our little square root function, and then we're going to type in 25 and enter. See, 5 times 5 is 25. The singular number is the square root. It's not dividing by 2, and it's not doubling when we deal with exponentials. So let's say we want to do an exponent other than squaring. We want to take it to the third power. 5 to the third, so we're going to hit that caret button, and then exponential of 3. 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. Now let's say we want to take the cube root or the third root of this number here. So this one requires a little bit of an extra step here. So if we want to find the third root, we're going to type in the 3 first. Then we're going to go ahead and access this lime green function with the square root with the x next door to it. That is finding the root of whatever you're looking for. In this case, we want to find the third root, the little x is there, and then we want to find this cube root of 125. You see, that's where it's 5 times 5 times 5, and the singular number is the cube root. So that's how it works for finding the cube root of that. And notice how these are opposite of one another here. So notice that we're not going to triple the number or divide it by 3. Different animals. 5 to the third is 125. The cube root of 125 is 5. Some other noteworthy examples here. 10, and we want to raise this to the power of 4. So that's 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. That's 10,000, right? 10 times 10 is 100. 100 times 10 is 1,000. And 1,000 times 10 is 10,000. So that's how we get that. So let's go ahead and look at the opposite. What is the fourth root of 10,000? So we're going to type in a 4, the second, and this key here that tells me I want the fourth root of something. And in this case, I want the fourth root of 10,000. So that's going to be a times a times a times a, where all a's are the same. And the final number is going to be the fourth root that we're looking for. So in this case, I'm going to go grab that. I'm going to press the button or highlight that, enter it there to anchor it in there. The fourth root of 10,000 should give me a 10. And there you go. So that's how it works in the world of squaring a number and taking an exponential of any number and taking a root of any number as necessary for what you're going to be dealing with, answering different questions on different tests. So that's pretty much about it there, how this works. If you enjoyed this video, please hit thumbs up. I'll be having more exciting videos. And hello to my math class out there. And this is going to be very helpful for you to use for your futuristic math test. Otherwise, have yourself a nice day. More videos down the road.